This car came all the way from Jacksonville. It has been to at least one dealership. It's out of the dealership for 7 months.
There, that's connected again.
All they did was replace some parts and charge them for it, which is terrible. It did say change some coil packs, and I think he changed injector clips. The dealership put in brand new injectors, which right now it has a dead miss. I started first thing this morning and it has a noticeable misfire. I don't know which cylinder yet. We're going to go ahead and start it, pull it in the shop, and then start diagnosing it. And we're going to show you exactly what we check and exactly what we find. And hopefully this guy can show it to the dealership and show them that they didn't fix it. I hate to dog on dealerships, but it seems like they just don't figure things out like they used to. They just charge you for stuff and get on to the next one. Now we start seeing all the things that are just a little bit off.
No bracket up here.
Oh, well, that should go down this side anyway. A boot completely missing right here. The more we look at this, the more things we're seeing. We think this engine might have been out. This customer told me he's had it for 7 years and nothing happened to it in 7 years. So prior to that, someone's been messing around in here. He did want a new clutch. He did buy one of our clutch packages. Aftermarket exhaust.
Yeah, like all the brackets are
This part is the HKS. Somebody's replaced this middle section. This is there's two factory grounds right here on the S2000. This is the driver's side. So this one coming from here to the subframe to this pad right here. This other one would come from this pad over to the top of the frame, which would be up there. We did notice a random ground on the intake manifold, which I'm wondering if it's that. I wonder if somebody is grounding the block to the head, which isn't really needed. It's kind of bolted together with, you know, like 10 heavy-duty bolts. As you hear, dead miss right now. One of the things we're going to do is pull injectors. If you pull injectors, that way you're not dumping fuel. If you pull coils, you're dumping fuel and not igniting it, so you tend to load it up. So we did see that somebody has changed a pigtail down here. Oh, light just died. They didn't do a very good job. Yeah, light is definitely dying.
This is just a pinpoint, but it'll work. Well, it likes that one.
It likes that one, and that's got the most funky wiring.
There it is. Cylinder 3's out.
You don't care about number 3. It likes 2 and it likes
1.
Alright, so
3,
let's start verifying. Let's check that one. Let's check, put a noid in here. Let's see if we've got anything coming from the ECU. You have a signal coming from here from the ECU, so it's not the ECU. Next thing we're going to do is check the compression and spark plug and coil. It's got mismatched coils, which he told us about. I don't like the idea of that. I'd like to just rip those out, put some good ones in. I think he has good ones in the trunk, but we'll check everything on the cylinder right here, number 3. Dealership has already sold him a map sensor and an air temp sensor. This is just what I hate, when they just throw parts at it and say, well, let's just try it. This will tell you in the computer, if you look at the values, it'll tell you if it needs that, same as the map. You don't just buy stuff and put it in. Quick check, just took this one out, put a new coil in it just to see right now if that is the issue. We're going to check a little bit further as well. That did it. That did it. Yeah. All right, we should still dive into this, do a valve adjustment, which he wants to do anyway, new fresh set of plugs, and we'll replace all of those with Denso coils. Big order in the store today. All packed and shipped. Hopefully you like the packing and shipping. If you do, I did it. This is a little bit sketchy, plus if you look at it here, it's backwards. The black and yellow is power. I should go to the red. That's the way Honda do it. They do that for a reason. Some injectors are more noticeable than others, but that's the way Honda do it. That's the way we're going to do it. So we're going to remove that and take care of that. He brought it to us. That's the way we do things. He probably wants it doing the way we do things. So we're replacing the plugs because this has been running rich on one of the cylinders, and of course unknown mileage. We're going to put a fresh set in there. It's always a good idea. If in doubt, fresh set of plugs. We had a really mint, I would say it's new, but it had a little tiny scrape in it, so we can't sell it as new. Valve cover. This was the spark plug cover he provided. I think I want to try and clean this up. It's not the best, but I think if we clean it and service it, it'll look a million times better. Another reason to buy our rebuild kit. Look at the foam on this one. It's just literally falling apart. This is a vacuum deal to get that out. So let's pull out the old Hoover and suck that yuck out. Always a story. This one is held down with little Phillips screws. So the tabs were all broken off, so somebody figured, hey, I'm just going to put little sheet metal screws in there. Yeah, all of them broke. So I'm going to take those little guys out, whatever those are, like GM quick connect things, quick nuts. We'll take those out, and we'll put the proper plastic piece back in there. Always a story.
I mean, that's not the worst solution in the world.
I've seen worse. Do you want it?
Yeah, but I'm just going to throw it in the trash for you. But
we had one that was glued in, which was pretty interesting. So I guess it's better than that. A little bit more of that if you want that. Don't eat it.
Don't eat this?
No. We've got to tell people because somebody will. And then email and say, hey, I ate that packing stuff and it tastes terrible. And yeah, no longer feeling good. You think I'm joking. They supplied a Clutch Masters clutch. We're going to go ahead and install this and check it out. It has a little bit of a vibration at like 1800 RPM, so something's telling me somebody might have put it back together incorrectly. And we're going to do an install kit at the same time, which is available in our store. Whenever you do a clutch, do all the parts related. Like I showed you, the boot is missing. Who knows what the slide and everything else looks like. So it's always a good idea to replace that, because if somebody's been in there, they've most likely put it back together wrong. Our rebuild kit now comes with the spring. We've seen the need for it, so now if you buy our kit, it comes with everything you need. Foam, grease, cage, ball, shifter foam, rubber, gator, and the clip, and of course the spring. Trans is down. I think we made that call. Look at that, not a dowel there, and not a dowel there. That one is missing. And that one looks like someone cut it off because they couldn't get it out. They figured you don't need it. So guys, the dowels are very important. The reason for the dowel is that lines up the transmission to make sure the center of that is in line with that. If it's not, you will get a vibration, which this car had at about 1700. So if you're experiencing that, obviously not driving, but just in neutral, bring the RPMs up, you get a hard shimmy. It's probably whoever did your clutch didn't put the dowels back. Or they cut them. Ouch. Bang my head.
the car doesn't move.
No, it's solid. So we're going to be replacing those parts. That thing is solid, so we don't need to replace that, just a piece of skin on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to figure out how that comes out. This is where we have a dowel. These are the bell housing bolts. See how much room there is here? That means the transmission can be that far off. There's the top one, you see that? These are just mainly to clamp the two parts together. They line up on this right here. That is a dowel, just like your cylinder head. And then there's one on that side too. Just like your cylinder head. There's all that spludge coming out of there.
I don't know.
So we Loctited that in?
Maybe, or it came out of the bearing, one of the two. But yeah, there's a lot of Loctite on this thing.
Yeah. All clutch systems?
All of them.
All of them.
Well, I mean, this is the clutch system. This is the beginning of it.
This is part of the clutch system,
And
really.
then that's the rest of the clutch system.
Drive shaft bolts usually don't come out. The Honda ones are very soft. We have the hardened ones in the store. We ship these out daily. Less than half the price of the Honda ones, and you can reuse them, not to mention they're not going to strip out on you, or the key isn't going to come out as you try to torque them. There we go. Nice and firm. Look at that. Well, the customer did tell us he replaced his own coil packs and it would randomly drop cylinders, then he would change them back and it would run fine. And it ran for a few weeks prior to him making the appointment to bring it to us. And then right before he brought it to us, it went back to the dead miss. So we knew it wasn't just as simple as replacing a part. There was something else in there we had to investigate.
There, that's connected again. And then off. There, we're disconnected. Now we're reconnected.
Yeah. So it's somewhere down there.
There's a broken wire in the harness somewhere, and it's the ground. It might be for all of them. They should all be connected. So, it's the ground for that one.
Yep.
Yep. So, the ground connection somewhere in the harness.
So we just soldered that one. We're going to put heat shrink on it. These over here look like they're no good. I just messed with one and it pulled apart. I think they're just twisted together because it feels a little sketchy there. But yeah, look at that, it's just pulling apart. They're just twisted together. They're twisted and heat shrinked, which isn't the right way to do it. I don't know if that's more problems all the way through the harness, but it's definitely one of them. Okay, harness is all put back together. We did find a whole bunch of wiring issues, grounds, and different joints that were just not put back together right, including some inside the ECU compartment, which is right here. It's all put back together, soldered, heat shrinked, taped, loomed, tight. Everything is back in a holder. A lot of this harness here, we have to take all this out. So now it's got all the connections back. Everything is mounted where it should be. It sure sounds nice now. It's much, much crisper. So we're going to verify it's good by driving it off and on over the next couple of days. It's not due to go home for another few days. So the more it hangs around here, the more we can drive it, the more we kind of put it through its paces, you know, shake the wiring around, that kind of thing, burp it down the street. And then we're going to give it a wash because it's pretty dirty. It sat at a dealership for 7 months. I'm not throwing those guys under the bus. Well, I guess I am. They went to a dealership and sat, I mean, this poor car sat in the sun for 7 months while they fixed it, air quotes, fixed it. And obviously they didn't. So we want to make him happy. We'll wash it, make it look good. We'll give it back. All right. The other part of your job is to test cars, George. I'm keeping that.
You have to.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's an iffy one. Pretty much stock except that exhaust is obviously it's a HKS. It's got the resonator removed, but definitely got a nice sound. Not the most power producing exhaust, but you know what, sometimes it's about how it sounds. Yeah, that sounds good.